This ministry content is brought to you by the partners of Terry Savelle Foy Ministries.
Hey, I'm Cassidy Foy. I'm Terry Savelle Foy's daughter. I know you're used to a higher pitched voice and a lot of bright colors and jewels, but this is as colorful as it's gonna get. Today, I want to take you into a message my mom shared last year at our annual women's event. But first, if you've ever listened to my mom, you know she has some crazy props and she even makes up her own laws. Like one year she taught the law of the deck of cards, which basically says that someone could take the same hand you've been dealt and win. And then she taught the law of the water hose, which basically says that when you spray a water hose, the water comes out a few feet. But when you put your thumb on the end of it, and you actually restrict the water, it shoots out further. And it's the pressure in life that's going to take you further. Well, then she taught the law of the Hostess Cupcake. And I'm just going to let her explain this one, so watch this.
Okay, let me explain how this came about. So when I was a little girl and I'd go to the grocery store with my mom, every time when we'd walk right in, the bakery was right there, and I'd say, "Mama, can I get a cupcake?" And she'd say, "Sure." So I'd get a cupcake, and I would eat the cupcake as we walked around the grocery store. So this whole icing thing is a real passion for me, okay? Since I was little. Well, since I was a little girl, Mom knew how much I love cupcakes. So every single lunch my mom ever made for me, from elementary all the way to like freshman year of high school, she put a Hostess Cupcake in my lunch. Jerry, am I telling the truth? Every single lunch. Well, the difference in the bakery cupcake and the Hostess Cupcake is that the bakery cupcake, the icing was on the top. I mean, you could just bite right into that icing, which I love. But the Hostess Cupcake, you had to get to the middle. Aren't these the cutest props? So you have to get to the middle because that's where the icing is, like the best stuff, right? But it's the middle that matters. Well, I found out in life, if you're gonna live your dreams, it's the middle that matters. And what I mean by this is from the moment you get a dream and you write it down until it manifests. It's what you do in the middle that determines whether it manifests, right? So I'm jokingly calling it the law of the Hostess Cupcake, but really what I'm gonna teach you tonight is what to do in the middle while you're waiting for a big dream. Does that sound good? Brene Brown said the middle is messy, but that's where the magic is, right? So as I was praying about this message, and putting it all together, I was sitting out on my balcony just taking notes, and the Lord gave me 2 keys, and I just happen to have them here. 2 keys to take your stand and go for something grand. You ready? The first key is exposure, and the second key is expectancy. Exposure and expectancy. Let's talk about exposure. Let me explain this to you. What you're being exposed to right now has everything to do with whether or not your dream manifests. And what I mean by exposure is when you're waiting for a dream, you're in that middle, waiting for a dream to manifest, you must have the right exposure by what you're listening to and who you're hanging around. Let's call this content and contacts. Let's talk about content real quick. Did you know that whoever has your ear has your life? Yes, I have an ear right here. Whoever has your ear has your life. Because what you're being exposed to, like what you're allowing in your ears, what you consume, you become. I like to say it like this: what you tune into, you turn into. So, I read something from the brilliant Dr. Seuss, and he said, the more you read, the more things you will know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go, right? Which is pretty deep. But did you know that somebody else has already provided a blueprint for you to follow to achieve any dream God put in your heart? I mean, think about this. A book, a podcast, a coaching course is literally the advice, the wisdom, the experience of someone practically sitting down with you and sharing everything they know about that topic. So let me give you an example. Let's just say that one of your grand dreams this year is to get in shape, to lose weight, to slow down the aging process, or get free from chronic pain, whatever that means to you. Do you know that Dr. Don Colbert has over 40 books from 40 years of experience on that very topic available at your fingertips to help you achieve a grand dream. Or let's just say your dream this year is to have better relationships with your spouse or with your children. Did you know that Dr. Gary Smalley has poured decades of research into helping millions of couples and families all over the world? It's available at our fingertips, right? Let's say your dream is to develop discipline to go after your dreams and goals. Did you know Terry Savelle Foy has a program for that? But listen to this scripture I came across. This scripture is so deep. I hope you can understand it and really dissect it. But this is Proverbs 4:7. Listen to what it says. The beginning of wisdom is this. Get wisdom. It literally says that. You want wisdom for what you're going through? Get wisdom. So think about this. Let's just say your grand dream this year that you're going to write down is you want to get out of debt. You are so tired of having debt on your shoulders, and your goal is to be debt-free and to start building your savings account. Dave Ramsey has a book for that, right? So let me tell you a story real quick. Years ago, I was learning what I'm teaching you tonight, and I was learning the power of having a vision. So I put a picture of my car in my dream book, and I wrote, I drive a debt-free car. Well, at the time, I owed about $14,000 on the car. Well, one Saturday morning, I got up early and I went to go run some errands while my family was asleep. I ran to the bank, I ran to the car wash, but I was starting to learn the habits of successful people, how they use their drive time to grow, to learn. They turn their car into a classroom, right? So I jumped in the car, I pushed play, and I'm listening to Dave Ramsey. Y'all, by the time I got home, before the family even woke up, I paid off my car. And you might think, Terry, did you win the scratch-off lottery ticket at the convenience store? No, I got something better. I got the content or the wisdom to help me achieve a grand dream. Just during that quick little drive to the bank and the car wash, I heard Dave Ramsey make a statement, and he was talking about the importance of living debt-free and stop wasting money every month paying interest payments on your car, on your credit cards and all that. And he actually used this example. He said, if you have the money in your savings account right now to pay off your car, but you're leaving that money in your savings account to feel secure, yet you're paying interest payments every month on a car, he shouted, drain the savings account, pay off the car. And then he said, and use that money that you used to put on the car payment and put it back in the savings account every month. It made so much sense to me, but I was so proud of myself that I actually had money in my savings account. I didn't want to drain it. But I had $14,000 I owed on the car. I had $16,000 in my savings at that time. I went home, transferred the $14,000, and achieved a grand dream. So think about that. I achieved a grand dream by being exposed to the right content to help me. Does that make sense? So what you listen to matters. What you read matters. What you tune into, you turn into. I heard somebody say one time, if you want to know where your life is headed, look at the list of contacts in your cell phone. This is a cute toy cell phone, right? T.D. Jakes said it like this. He said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. He said, hang out with 9 losers and you'll soon be the 10th. Now, I'm not saying your friends are losers, but here's what I'm saying. If you're hanging out with people who say things to you like, you still think you're going to meet the right man this year? You still think you're going to get a promotion? You still think you're going to pay off your debts? You're hanging out with the wrong friends. See, success is like riding an elevator. On the way to the top, some people got to get off, right? They can't go where you want to go. So I'm saying you got to pick your friend group wisely. In fact, Sidney Poitier, he wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. And he said, something unspoken happens when you go for a walk with somebody. He said, you either adjust to their pace or they adjust to your pace. And then he said, whose pace have you adjusted to? See, here's what I want you to know. If you're the big fish in a small pond, you're in the wrong pond. If everybody in your friend group thinks you're the wealthiest, the most successful, the smartest, the healthiest, everything about you is the most amazing, you got the wrong friends. because you're not growing. You're doing all the teaching. You got to get around people who are doing bigger things than you that cause your thinking to come up higher, right? So what do you do while you're in the middle? What do you do while you're waiting for a big dream to manifest? You expose yourself to the right content and the right contacts to help you take your stand and go for something grand, right?
Okay, so isn't the law of the Hostess Cupcake anointed? I love that quote from Brene Brown where she says, "The middle is messy, but that's where the magic happens." This week, we want to help you get the right content and the right contacts. So Terry put together a list of her favorite books and podcasts to get you started. To get this free list, click the link in the description and it will be sent right to your inbox. And hey, before I go, in just 6 weeks, we're hosting our biggest women's event of the year on August 30th and 31st. Imagine a 2-day experience where you'll hear practical, biblical teaching from Terry and other amazing guest speakers, plus be surrounded in an environment of like-minded women going after their dreams. Join us in Dallas, Texas on August 30th and 31st for this unforgettable experience. You will not be the same after this weekend. Go to terry.com to reserve your seat today. And remember, we're cheering you on to live your dreams.
Join us for the ICING Women's Event live experience in Dallas, Texas. This is your time to grow in your relationship with God. Get the biblical tools you need to live your dreams. Be set free from limitations and make 2024 your record-breaking year. Join Terry Savelle Foy along with anointed guest speakers on August 30th through the 31st for an unforgettable weekend that will inspire and motivate you to live out your God-given purpose. Go to terry.com to register for ICING Women's Event today. We can't wait to see you at ICING 2024, the premier women's conference for faith-filled dream achievers.